Hi, everyone, and welcome to Hanratty'S Huddle. I'm Rob Adams with Terry Hanratty and Dave Toromio. And, guys, we're coming to you from a whole new location. We're not in someone's house. We're not in WGCH's radio studio. We have at least a temporary home for today.
We do. We're coming to you from CT State Norwalk. And go ahead, Terry.
No, and it is wonderful here. I mean, it's great facilities, and the people are wonderful, and these chairs are so nice that I hope you guys poke me every once in a while to keep me awake.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that.
It's a really nice facility, really great people, and we hope to expand on this and perhaps have a partnership going forward with them. I'm working with some of their students in their communications class.
And they're wonderful kids.
And they're going to help.
They really are.
Yeah. Terry was on a call with us, and we're working on how to promote this podcast and build it up more, and other stuff that we're working on together, which we're all involved with, which we can talk about at a later date. But bottom line is, this is a great facility, great people, great kids, and hopefully this will be our home going forward for the podcast.
I'm all with you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm excited about that piece, working with the students, getting to know them, seeing what they're interested in as well. So I think this is a really exciting time for our show.
And if you could see us on TV, you'd know that we need youth in our program.
Desperately.
Wow.
Because there's a lot of intricacies here that I have no clue what I'm doing.
Well,
I can see a microphone, I can speak into a microphone, and that's it.
Here's a little caveat we haven't discussed yet, a little bonus.
Oh, I like this.
Down the street here is a Kentucky Fried Chicken, so afterwards,
go get some greasy fingers.
There you go.
Yeah, my wife would kill me.
Don't want that happening.
No.
All right, let's dive in. There's a lot to get to. College football, NFL, you've got Major League Baseball playoffs going on. Hockey's getting ready to start. The NBA not far behind. We have literally a smorgasbord in front of us. It's such a great time of year.
It is.
But there's a man here in Notre Dame garb.
Yeah,
I'm going to start with that. And fumbling the opening kickoff? Wow. What's that all about?
Yeah.
I saw that game, and I knew Louisville was going to be a heck of a game. I mean, it was 15 against 16. I mean, it was a close game. But we were about a 6.5 point favorite, which I was a little shocked at to begin with. I thought it should have been tighter than that. But when we fumbled the opening kickoff and they recovered, in about 2 or 3 plays, they're 7-0 Louisville. So that's a point where I think where Marcus Freeman really comes in, because that's a team you got to hold your team together, because your home crowd, and all of a sudden you just take everything out of the crowd.
Right.
And I think he did a great job, and they came back and won the game, and onward and upward. We have a bye this weekend, which is great because we have a lot of injuries. So maybe get some kids healthy for next week. So that's good.
You gotta love the bye.
Gotta love. I mean, yeah. It's sometimes the bye worries me because yes, you can recover, but I'm always concerned about losing momentum, and that seems to be a big baseball thing. We can come to that in a little bit.
Yeah. If you don't have injuries, you can really lose momentum.
Yeah.
But if you have injuries, you get these kids healthy, I think that really takes over.
When you come right down to it, how do you feel about the Fighting Irish right now?
I still want to see more of a passing game. I think I've been preaching for years, going back coaches, plural, that we have a horrible screen game. And I even recommended this year when I was out there in the spring, you guys should spend some time, take a day off and go to Kansas City. Andy Reid is one hell of a guy and one hell of a coach. And he screens with everybody. If the water boy wants to catch a ball on the sideline for a screenplay during the game, he'll catch one.
Yeah.
And I go out there and see how Andy does this. And I finally saw, and I don't mean those bubble screens where everybody in the world ad nauseum throws those quick screens to the wide receivers way out and they gain 2 yards or 2-yard loss.
Yeah.
But that slow screen where you got to fake this way and the linemen are going to give that slow block, then they're going to all of a sudden pull to the left. And the running back will fake a block on the defensive end, and he goes to the left. Then you dump it off. And they did that for about a 20-yard gain, and I almost fell off my seat. And my phone lit up because I've been telling everybody we got to get into a screen game, and everybody who's watching the game just text me, "Look, there's your screen, there's your screen." So finally we did it. But I think the injuries scare me a little bit because we're down. We've lost 60% of our starting offensive line. So we're using backups to backups, actually, some places. So if they come around in the next couple of weeks, I think we'll be fine by the end of the year. But we got a couple tough ones. Florida State has been absolutely horrible.
Yeah, they have.
I will guarantee you when they come to Notre Dame, it'll be a different ball game, be a different team. So, and we got Southern Cal at the end of the year.
In Florida State lost their quarterback.
That could be good.
Yeah, so
he was not playing well.
Well,
and I think they were reluctant to make a change.
Yeah.
So you hate to see anybody get injured.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah.
But as far as the team is concerned, that maybe help them. Maybe they get a lift from the other quarterback. But the quarterback. I mean, when you change schools 3 times, you wonder. Is he ready to play? In the big time? Yeah. So it's we'll see now.
Well, I got to say, the Northern Illinois loss is just going to haunt them. It's just going to haunt them.
And plus, Northern Illinois is 0-2 since Notre Dame.
Isn't that something? And they got beat by Buffalo, who then got beat down by UConn.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, we're going to somehow be able to make UConn the national championship because UConn beat Buffalo, who beat Northern Illinois, who beat Notre Dame, who beat.
You can go on and on.
Yeah,
and it's funny because at the time I was making excuses for my school with this, these two star kids go to a school and get developed late, but then all of a sudden they get beat by Buffalo, then they lose another one, they go, oops, I guess that thing went out the window.
Yeah. Your next game, Notre Dame plays Stanford, obviously after the bye week. So
we got them at home. So I mean, Stanford, they're a new coach.
Yeah,
they're always a difficult school to recruit to because they have very few of us have academic standards, and they get different kids.
Yeah.
So it's always an interesting game.
I just want to add one thing, and we touched on it briefly before we got on, to talk about this stuff. But the putting the game on Peacock is a pain literal pain in the ass, because at the end of the day, I do love watching college football, but I don't sit on one game. I'll jump, and the thing I do is I get my favorite channels, boom, 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 boom. So I don't have to. I just boom, boom, boom. I'm not going to go change my input. I do have the Peacock service to get to the game and then and jump in. I mean, you did because that's who you wanted to watch. I wanted to see it too because it was a good game, but I wasn't going to do that.
Well, that's what commercials are for, to jump.
Yeah, to jump.
But when you're on the Peacocks of the world, you don't want to go through the whole rigmarole because it was difficult for me to find it to begin with. So I figure if I'm going back to regular TV,
you got to come back.
I'm not coming back. I'm going to miss a couple plays. So I got to stay and actually watch commercials.
Yeah, I just don't think. Listen, now in this day and age, and this is what we're in now, right? Everything is about multiple,
it is
options for your product. Whether it's baseball or football, we're seeing it. Everybody's got to be on multiple services and. You have to have 16 different accounts to watch if you wanted to watch all this stuff.
I think that's the way sports are going.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to no longer have regular TV where you're going to watch a game. I mean, you got to go to all these offshoot networks.
Gotcha.
I think that's a future for sure. We use the term instant classic, I think, far too often, far too easily. And yet Georgia-Alabama was a straight-up fantastic football game, especially that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Just white-knuckle football. I can't even imagine having and I didn't have a rooting interest, so I can't even imagine having a rooting interest. To me, that's that's like Steelers Cowboys playing every year in a Super Bowl. That's what that game was like. There's nobody to root for. Although in my case, I'd be rooting for the Steelers every year. But regardless of that, what a great game.
Well, I don't have a rooting interest either, and the build up to that game was even bigger because you had a huge audience. Mm-hmm. Then you saw Alabama come out and just completely dominate Georgia. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was an embarrassment. And there were people I'm sure Georgia people wanted to beat the crowd.
Oh, sure.
And got out. Then all of a sudden
I flipped it off for a stretch.
And they start coming. The quarterback really it was interesting because there were a lot of pro scouts out there looking at the Georgia quarterback. And that's the first time I've seen him.
Yeah.
And I'm going watching. I said, what the hell are they doing? Why are they here to see him?
Yeah.
He really didn't show me much.
But
then that second half.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's why they came to see him.
Yeah.
And they put on a show. And when they went ahead, I looked at the clock. I said, I think there's too much time on that clock.
Yes.
I didn't think they'd score in the next play.
Yeah.
And a freshman, 17-year-old kid.
Oh, yeah.
Who caught that ball in a
tremendous.
Great catch and a great move after about the 20-yard line. And that guy just almost broke his leg trying to tackle the kid. And that place just went absolutely berserk.
Bananas. Yeah.
And, the receiver, I saw him interviewed. Had his fingernails painted, right?
Okay.
His little sister painted his fingernails. And that was
sweet.
really cool.
That's sweet, yeah.
That was really sweet.
Yeah, I
really
like
cool.
that.
And he was so proud of her because she, painted his fingernails. And I'm saying, wow, this is really nice.
That is.
That this kid.
It's a nice story.
He's all over everybody's TV now. And he still talks about his little sister who painted his fingernails. That was really cool. I like that a lot.
I'll say this: I'm with Rob. I mean, when Alabama got way up, my wife is like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah,
so I
it's
said,
over.
"Well, I'm flipping around. There were other games on, and check back. Oh, it's a little closer. Check back. Oh, and then check back. Oh my God! And then watch the whole fourth quarter. It was insane. And Georgia again comes down and has a chance to win it. And the throw, that pass, a little ill-advised there because he didn't, he didn't need to rush it. They still had time,
Had a lot of time,
and he, so and again, another freshman intercepts the ball in the end zone for Alabama. So I find it easier to take Alabama now that Nick Saban's not there anymore. Sorry for being so honest. But
they've
Dave,
done just
honest
as well
when?
without Nick. No, but this coach seems like he's a real deal at Alabama.
He does,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Doing a really good job. That was a fun night for college football.
Yep.
And, with the way college athletics are going, you got a new Pac-12 that's really starting to kick in again and things like that. We kind of need to keep the focus on the field because I'm a little worried about college sports off the field.
Yeah, I'm very worried about college sports in general.
Yeah.
With this NIL and the free agency and
transfer portal.
Where are we going in the next 5 years? I don't know. I think, and the thing that really gets me crazy is that most of these kids are not going to get a diploma.
Yeah.
And less than 1% go to the pros.
Yes.
And less than 1% of those make enough money to make it generational money.
Right.
So, I mean, it's
the dream. It's the dream. Here's the problem, and the problem has always been this. It always comes down to leadership, and the NCAA is just a poor organization. If I told you the money some of these people make at the NCAA, including the executive director, I mean, we're talking $1 million contracts for these people. They do nothing.
Yeah, they've done nothing for years.
For years, and this is a result. All of this happening, the transfer portal, guys playing 3 games and deciding now's my time to opt out because I can redshirt. Well, this never. This is ridiculous.
Now they want to involve.
Yeah.
They want to involve Congress.
Yeah.
And the worst thing you do is give government the job.
That's right.
Oh my God! That as soon as I read that, I went, it's over.
Yeah.
If you're going to try to bring in government into this to
manage it,
manage it, and tell me how much I should be paying all these kids, forget it.
Yeah, to me that's a big problem.
It is not good. It's not a good scene, and it's not. I don't know, what the end game is or where it's going to go from here. But and by the way, there are people out there making promises to these kids. We just saw it with the Nevada quarterback, right? It's like, hey, we'll give you $100,000. Well, the kid is not bright enough to get it in writing, so he got screwed.
Well, the kid is not. If I had to take a side here, I think I got to do the kid.
That's what I'm saying.
Because why would you go from the East Coast to Nevada for $3,000 a month?
Yeah.
When all these other schools are paying these kids hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. No. I mean, everybody's making that kind of money everywhere. So, I think he had enough schools in between there where he could have gone for the money.
We are seeing a change, of epic proportions, as we're all saying here in the college. And now, Ed Cull, who's a buddy of mine, just took the St. John's job from Fordham. He's a great guy. He's a great AD. But what did he say when he took the job? It's all about revenue creation.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is. And now every school, and we just saw with Adrian Wojnarowski leaving ESPN.
Leaving multi-million-dollar job.
$20 million to go to St. Bonaventure, who doesn't even play football. They play, Division they're in the same conference as you are. It's a basketball school.
Yeah.
But a mid-major. It's not a, it's a mid, and he's going to do, for them, every school's going to have this. There's going to be an AD doing all the athletic stuff, and there's going to be a general manager doing all the NIL and all this other stuff. And it's scary.
Well, I think it's something you're seeing countrywide now, not necessarily in the athletic department, but you're seeing a transition where all these people who made a lot of money and really they're moving back to their university.
I don't blame them for that.
And they want to retire there.
Sure.
Oh,
and
sure.
there's programs you could take. I see it at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's incredible, the building that's going on there.
Yeah.
But all the alumni want to come back. Now, if you can go from ESPN making a fortune, and all of a sudden have enough money where you can retire very comfortably.
Right.
Now you're going to go back to your alma mater.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Then where you can just
Sure it does.
relax. You know the environment. You love the school, and you want to work and do better. And I'm sure he's going to get well compensated for it. So it's not. He's not going back for.
I don't know if they're commission based jobs or if they're going to get a percentage of the money they bring in. I would assume there's some.
I'm sure there's a little percentage in there.
Little
perks for these jobs, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of money to go around, whether we like it or not.
Yep.
Shift over to the NFL, and I have to start with the Steelers. There's no offense. Let's be honest.
There really isn't.
There really isn't.
And the thing is, I think they're trying to win with defense.
I agree.
But you can't do that.
Can't do that.
Not in this league, not in this day and age. You got to be able to score, and you can't play this conservative stuff all the time. You have to take shots down the field. They have a good wide receiver, Pickens.
Yep, very good.
Very good. But they have to have a complement.
And that's where this Devontae Adams talk comes in.
That's the new one. And the Steelers have cap room.
They have cap room. Do they have the pieces to trade?
Well, that's the key because they're short everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they're short in the offensive line. Defensive line, they're short. I mean, you're playing a guy who's 35 years old, who's doing very well, but he's still, he's not playing every down.
Yeah.
So, so it's going to be interesting, and you should beat Indianapolis because their quarterback got hurt. Joe Flacco beat you again.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco beat us last year in Cleveland.
Yep.
Then he did in Baltimore. Now Indianapolis. Then he beat the Steelers in Indianapolis. What is this thing with Joe Flacco and the Steelers? The Steeler killer.
Joe Flacco is the modern day George Blanda.
Yeah.
I like that.
Vinny looks like Vinny Testaverde.
He does. Yeah.
Vinny was a great pocket passer.
Yeah.
I mean, Vinny could throw the ball.
Sure, he could.
And he played a long time because he's stayed relatively healthy and had that big arm. So it's. It reminds me a lot of that. You don't see that. I mean, neither are going to beat you with their feet.
No.
Right.
But you've got to be able to protect them in order to be successful.
No, I hear what you guys are saying, about the Steelers, and obviously you both have vested interest in that team. From my perspective, I think this game that is coming up against the Cowboys is a very winnable game. Very winnable.
Well,
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, it's always a hold your breath with the Steelers. But I got a kick out of when they played when Dallas played Baltimore. They were talking about how this is going to be this rough and tumble, and they just intimidate each other. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, Dallas never intimidated anybody. They've always been a finesse team.
Sure.
And they've never really pounded you on.
I don't know. That Tom Landry was a little menacing looking.
With that hat on.
It was the hat.
I can remember a good story when we played the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys couldn't beat us.
Right.
No matter whether it was preseason, regular season, or Super Bowl. We had their number. And they had Too Tall Jones. Mm-hmm. You got to visualize this now.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
I don't have a chalkboard here, but they ran what you call a flex defense.
Yep.
Where Too Tall played defensive end, and you see how people line up now with the defensive end on the line of scrimmage,
on the edge. Yep.
Well, if your backfield is split, the two running backs are split, they would move Too Tall into a flex position.
Gotcha.
Because you don't have immediate danger to your side.
Flex meaning more over the top. So,
yeah. And they would put him over closer to the defensive tackle and deeper, about a half a yard deeper. Mm-hmm. So what we did, and they never picked it up, we moved Franco and Rocky. Mm-hmm. We moved Franco 1 foot to the right. Mm-hmm. And they read that as a split backfield. Mm-hmm. So Too Tall flexes over, and we just ran to his side, and he's easy to hook that way because he's already back and in.
Right.
And they never picked it up for years. They couldn't figure it out how we were getting outside that quick. And I go, whoa! But those little things in life that you got to pick up when you watch film.
Yeah,
you see when there's split backs, he's going to flex. So wait a minute, when we're full, which means Franco's right behind Bradshaw.
Right.
Then he's on the line of scrimmage because he doesn't want because there's two guys immediately to your side, so he's got to be there to seal the corner.
Yep.
And they never picked it up. It was beautiful.
You mentioned Baltimore. I think Baltimore's pretty good.
They are pretty good, but they find ways to beat themselves too.
Yeah,
they do. And I tell you, I go back to Pete Rozelle. 100 years ago, he said he would like to see parity in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really think we have that right now. I mean, you can take out Kansas City.
Okay.
Now, name me any other team that you almost picked to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, everybody is balanced.
Well, the Niners, if the Niners were
The Niners
healthy,
are all beat up.
And I picked the Rams, and the Rams aren't good.
they're not good.
No, and you look at Dallas, and Dallas is horrible.
Dallas isn't good.
And-
I love the
and,
Lions,
you
but
might,
who
you
knows?
might give a little inch to Baltimore because they're playing better now. I hate to say it, the same division.
Yeah.
But they're playing a lot better, and the quarterback is playing really good.
Yeah.
And but you look around the league, where you don't have any more New England. You know,
Thank God
I mean,
for
the
that.
Jets. We all talked up the Jets, your Jets.
Oh, please.
Because they look so great and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
you know, they sort of
They
come
look
back.
great
to
in
They're
one
a
game.
mess.
Everybody's come back to mediocrity.
I guess that's what parity means.
Yeah.
Mediocrity. Doesn't
Yes.
mean, so.
That's it.
So if that's the case, then.
And it goes down to the points I've been bringing up here. This is the start of the NFL season.
Yeah.
Because prior to this,
4 games in, yeah.
no one played in the preseason, so nobody got hit. Nobody was able to throw in tight situations, and no one was worried about this or that because they weren't going to get hit practice against each other.
Right.
And the starters never played in the preseason. Now all the starters are getting together. You're seeing guys couldn't play 4 quarters now because they've never worked up to that phase.
Yeah.
So now is the start, I think, of the NFL season.
I agree.
A lot of messy situations out there. Look at the Dolphins, for instance.
Oh, boy.
I didn't think the Dolphins were a Super Bowl team. I thought they could be a playoff team, maybe even win the division, although I think Buffalo's better.
Yep.
They're done. They
They're
look
done.
They really are. They really
Without
Even the
Tua,
coach.
they fell apart.
They look like they just look like. I mean, he just looks like, oh my God, let's get this over, the season over.
It feels like it.
I mean, Huntley can't throw the ball to,
And he's hurt.
He's going to start again this week.
Yeah,
but so it's, but you're right. You're 100% right. Miami looked awful. That was a horrible game.
And if you see the record, I mean, they said, well, should they pay Tua? Should they pay Tua all this kind of money? Then when you see the record, when he doesn't play and when he does play, it's incredible.
Yeah.
But can you keep him healthy enough to play? That's
listen,
the key.
if I'm-
And he's talking about coming back, and there's
Which
a
is
lot
scary.
to say about the concussions and all this stuff and the concussions he's had. But I really put it on the medical staff. They know a lot better than all of us. And everybody said, "Well, I would never play again." Everybody said the kid from Buffalo that died on the field.
Yeah.
Be
Mar
crazy
Hamlin
to play again. Now he's out there playing.
Yeah,
He had an interception the other night.
had an interception. Yes, he did.
If I'm Tua, or if I were Tua's brother or father, whatever, friend, I would say, let's go talk to Brett Favre. Now he just announced he has Parkinson's, and that's got to be a direct result. No, okay, of the hit. Not maybe that's a bad example. Okay, but the point is his quality of life in 10, 15, 20 years.
Oh, I agree.
Is maybe. I mean, I know it's a lot of money, but I just feel for the guy. I mean, because this is not the first time.
No, and there are examples of
Yeah.
some guys, Dave Dewerson, there are others you can think of who.
Oh yeah, Webster, you're a
Mike
sinner.
Webster,
Oh,
yeah,
Mike Webster,
of course. Rest
And
his
that's
soul.
probably the saddest thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
But it's different from linemen because they're getting their heads hit every time,
Yes,
every
yes.
down.
Yeah, I got you.
Quarterbacks are catching 3 or 4 shots. And the kid's got to learn how to slide.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't like to slide. I mean, it's something they put in to protect the quarterbacks.
Speaking of guys who I sometimes wonder what's going on inside of them, that brings me to Aaron Rodgers. And again, the Jets. Oh boy, Dave, I don't know what
Jets
to say
being
to you.
Jets. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
You can't show up your head coach on the sideline.
No,
And the head coach will never show up the quarterback on the sideline, no matter what team.
right.
I mean, they see the quarterback as the extension of their team. The head coaches always take a quarterback aside and talk to him. You never get in a verbal, and likewise, you don't get in a verbal attack or a look or a gesture towards the head coach. And I've said it 100 times. Rodgers is one of the few quarterbacks I would pay to watch. I think he's that good. But what he did, and it was just despicable to what he did with the head coach. I don't care what the problems are between the two of them. you don't show it in front of national television because everything gets picked up nowadays.
Yep.
Especially in New York.
Especially in New York. And you just talk to him. If you don't like what he's doing, this is that, go at it that way. But I didn't like that gesture at all.
And he wasn't particularly good last weekend. It was not a great game for him.
No, bad game for that whole offense. 3 field goals and, just a bad performance by that team. And it comes back for me to, it's just so, and you hear it all the time, same old Jets. It just seems like they just cannot ever get over that hump. And it looks like, and then, listen, I know you beat New England. New England stinks. Don't be celebrating like you won the freaking Super Bowl.
Break the champagne out.
God almighty. You won one game. You're 2-1. And then you have Denver, who's not very good. Good defensively, but, in your own building, and you basically crap the bed. I mean, which is what they did. Now they gotta go. Now they gotta go to London and play Minnesota. Minnesota's having a
Minnesota's
great
very good.
I'm happy
right now.
for Sam Darnold. I really am.
I thought that was the greatest. That's the worst thing the Jets could have done is get rid of Sam Darnold. He's your number one pick. You basically gave him away. Once you pick a quarterback number one, like they did with Rodgers. I mean, they built the offensive line. They got him some receiver. They got a great defense. I mean, they didn't do that with Darnold. Darnold came in here with a horrible offensive line. He got crushed every time he tried to throw, and that's no way to judge a quarterback. And they gave him away, and he's been around a couple times. Now he finally gets another shot, and here he's going to be comeback player of the year.
And he should be, But at the end of the day, back to the Jets, they're just being undisciplined. The penalties. And maybe it is the snap count, whatever it is, the lack of practice in the preseason. But to me, it's the head coach. Anytime, because it's not just this year. This is his MO. This guy is, he's a nice guy. He's just not head coach material. His team is not prepared, undisciplined. And those are the 2 worst things you can say about any head coach in any sport.
So wait a minute. I have an idea.
Okay.
Because it sounds to me like the Jets need a new head coach.
Yes.
You okay with that? Well, there was this guy once before who was HC of NYJ. What would you think of him?
He would never do it. And I
Bill Belichick to the Jets. No.
Because he does.
Well, he did it once, right? For
a day.
He had to. It was in the and then he took the $1 million and didn't pay it back. By the way, so which is a scummy move. But at the end of the day, he doesn't like Woody Johnson, nor do I, for that matter. But he just has a real problem with the Jets. And will the Jets be looking for a new coach after this year?
I would say after this year they might be.
Yeah. Will they fire him in midseason? I don't think Woody's got the cojones to do that.
Well, you'll never build a team when you get 2 first-round picks or quarterbacks
and they're on
who are
teams.
not on your team anymore. So you've given up, and you got nothing in return for either of them.
Well, but you're also forgetting.
So you've lost so much draft power. It's incredible.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Well, you have Sam Darnold, who's now killing it with the Vikings. You got Zach Wilson, obviously a backup for the Broncos, but he's still in the league. Who you drafted with your number 2 pick.
Yeah.
And you got Geno Smith starting for the Seahawks. Even though they lost to the Lions, he had a heck of a game.
Yes, he did.
No, but Geno's playing very well.
Yeah.
Everybody thought when they got rid of Russell Wilson pretty quick.
Yeah.
They didn't fight to keep him.
Right. No, they didn't.
And Geno stepped right in, and, man, he just picked the team up from there.
And how would you like to be 18 for 18 as a quarterback? What a game.
The funny thing about that, did you see? And I like Campbell. I do. I think he's a good guy.
I like the Lions,
I'd like to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. So Campbell comes to the press conference, and, and they say, hey, what do you think of your quarterback going 18 for 18? And he goes, oh, I didn't realize that. He goes, I feel bad because I just give the game ball to somebody else.
Oh, that's great.
He did. That's true.
I didn't see that. That's great.
NFL rolls on with another week, and if we don't speed up here, we're going to be going for 3 hours.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I know Joe Casper's sitting listening, going, hey, 3 hours, I'm good. But I'm not sure the rest of the audience wants that. Anyway, and we're kidding. We love Joe. We love our audience.
Rob, good to have you back this week. That's
It's great to be here, and great. I hope we keep doing this.
We should,
see if we can get a regular schedule going, and we'll maybe make this our home away from home. But that aside, let's turn to MLB, and we already have Dave fired up, Terry, about the Jets. All I have to say is the New York Mets.
2 home runs last night.
Hey,
Mets had the lead.
How do you feel? How do you feel right now going to Game 3?
I don't expect them to win tonight.
Is it tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, they waste no time getting through this. Yeah.
They'll turn around
last night.
The winner will play in Philadelphia on Saturday. I don't get crazy about this stuff anymore. It's not worth getting upset over. I do like Mendoza a lot. I think he's a good manager. I think if you want to say they're playing with house money because they didn't expect to be here, whatever. What I like them.
They paid a lot of money to get here.
Well,
there's a lot of money on that team.
But they're paying money to guys who aren't on the team. Verlander and
Verlander
Scherzer
says he wants to come back again.
Well, I'm just saying the money they're paying really. I mean, the team is not other than Lindor. They'll have money to play. That's the thing is after this year they'll have a lot of money to use going forward, and that's why the whole Juan Soto thing. When he's a free agent, so we're going to see. But listen, you're a fan, so you always root for your team. But as a realist, you say, I think this might be it. This might be the end of their run. So, and their run being one playoff win.
And the Brewers, one of those teams that needs to climb over the hump, and tonight would be an opportunity to do that.
The Brewers, and what about the Orioles? My God.
Yeah. The Orioles flamed out bad.
Playoff games they've lost.
Well, I'm glad because the Yankees can't beat them.
Oh, yeah.
So now they're out.
The Royals now.
I like my first pick of my Pirates, my hometown Pirates. Then my second pick has always been the Yankees. So I'm a Yankee fan at heart here, but they got to keep Juan Soto.
The Yankees do, yeah.
And,
I agree.
And the other thing I hope for baseball this year is the Pirates get sold.
I was going to say that. I'm glad you brought that up.
And I think we touched upon it last show.
Yeah.
They had a player, I forget his name now, Ruiz, I think, Ruiz.
Yeah.
And
they waived him.
He had 4 more at bats, and he picks up a $200,000 bonus.
Oh, yeah.
And the owner cut him.
That's disgusting.
Now I am surprised that the Major League Baseball has not stepped in and done something about it, or the Players Association, maybe behind our back they are.
Yeah, it was Rowdy Tellez.
But this guy should be paid that money. And this owner for the Pirates should be out of baseball. And somehow they've got to do that.
Him, John Fisher, these guys are bad for baseball.
Oh, they're doing. They're feeding off the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. They're hoping, come on, keep Soto. You got to pay him $100 million a year.
Well, sure, if you
because
want,
I get 2% of that.
But put that revenue sharing back into your team. Right. That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's why they've been on him every year, but they don't do anything about it.
And we used to complain about the Kansas City Royals, but they won a World Series in 2015, went to one in 2014, and oh, by the way, they're moving on. They're going to play the Yankees Saturday night.
Yes.
Back to the old days, Yankees-Royals in a playoff matchup. Brings back nightmares.
Who's going to bring back the
Dick Hauser.
Need some pine tar.
Pine tar bat. Put bread out there.
There you go.
That happened in the regular season, but still, it should be interesting. But I think the pathway for the Yankees is pretty clear for them to get to the World Series. I'd be surprised.
Well, it's baseball.
It is baseball.
It is baseball.
It's weird because you think, okay, Yankees, they're here now. But somehow...
Yeah, we'll see.
Look, I love Aaron Judge. How can you not? He's so many things that's good for baseball. He's not been a stud postseason player. Needs to put the team on his back.
That's true. That's a good point. He really needs to step up in the postseason.
You need your stars to be stars.
Soto there,
yes,
takes a lot of pressure off Judge.
Yeah.
He can relax a little bit, and
they're a little banged up. They have some injuries. The Yankees, so that's always the first baseman. Obviously, is he still out? Two broken fingers. Yeah. So.
Well, we'll see how bad Rizzo is, but he did get banged up again.
Yeah.
Ben Rice. My Pirates are we badmouth a little bit, but how about my boy Skeen?
Oh, he's tremendous.
I mean,
he's going to look good in pinstripes in another 4 years.
Yeah.
This kid, I saw when he pitched. I went to the game Sunday in New York. We sat through the little bit of rain.
Yes.
It was an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it was to start, late start. And I kept looking at the field saying, when are they going to take the tarp off, right? But he pitched Saturday. We went to the game Sunday. The Pirates could have swept the Yankees.
Yeah, they could have.
I mean, not many Yankees played.
Yeah.
True.
But it's still. And but this kid is something.
He's
the
good.
day before he pitched against Judge.
Yeah.
And he just blew him away.
Blew gas right by him and Soto.
Yeah.
Looked fantastic. Only pitched 2 innings, but yeah.
Yeah, which is good.
That's okay.
I mean, you got to give the manager a lot of kudos here. You know, the game means nothing.
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't want him to pitch you don't want him throwing 120 pitches.
Not in that weather.
He pitched like 40, he threw like 40 pitches. Fine. Get him out. The season is over. Just keep him fresh and get him some experience. The kid is something. He's sick. You see who he dates, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
His girlfriend, the
gymnast
from LSU.
Yep.
It was one of the big, what do they call those?
Influencers.
Influencers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh, for folks who don't know, yes, they love their Steelers. They love the Panthers, the Penguins. They love the Pirates. It's a great baseball town.
Yes.
Well, they had some great players.
And it's probably the best baseball stadium.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
If it's not the best, it's up there.
They built a beautiful stadium right beside the Steelers, you know, bang, bang, right there. Yeah. And we just got to get a new owner. You got to put some money into it.
You come out of the Fort Pitt tunnel.
You got to have someone.
You got Pirates to the right, Steelers to the left.
Well, that's the greatest entrance in any city in the country.
100%.
But you know, you got to have someone in there that only makes money on the appreciation of the team.
Yeah.
You can't have they're looking to make a payroll for his family.
No.
You got to have a lot of money in there because you got to put a lot of money into it to be successful.
Well, like you said, MLB's got to step up and do something about it, but I don't know if they ever will, to be honest.
No.
You know?
Well, revenue sharing is the killer.
We have covered a lot of topics on this one, and I know we're running a bit long.
Yeah.
We've got to get Terry to a hockey game, by the way.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, we do. I love it.
NHL starting.
That's one of those things I never grew up with. It. Never grew up with hockey or lacrosse.
When you see it
and I know so little about either of them.
That's all right.
So as long as we don't cover those topics, you know, I'm good in all the others.
The Garden's great. It's overpriced.
Yeah.
But, you know, Long Island's pretty good. That's a nice arena.
This is a full-service podcast.
Darn right.
I went to a hockey game one time years ago. A friend of mine had an extra ticket. He said, come on, you got to go. Penguins were in town. Mm-hmm. Mario Lemieux, right? Mm-hmm. He had just gotten over cancer. Mm-hmm. And he just started back to play again. And he was in Philly the night before, and they cheered him. You know, in Philadelphia. Believe that one. Right? They don't cheer anybody.
No.
He comes to New York. We're sitting in the Garden. He doesn't start.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching this thing, thinking, what's going on? I'm not sure on what icing the puck is, right? And all of a sudden, they put Lemieux in. And the Guard booed the hell out of him. I go, wait a minute, this guy just got over cancer, and you're booing him?
In New York, that's love.
But Philly cheered him. That's the other I couldn't figure out. I go, whoa.
That's interesting.
Gentlemen, anything else before we call it a day?
No.
Other than to thank our great facilities here.
Connecticut State University system here in Norwalk, and thank them. And we look to be back here and grow this podcast the way we've been talking, and this is part and parcel with that.
As the lights go out?
The lights just went out. I guess that's a sign we need to stop talking. So we will see you next week for a new edition of Hanratty'S Huddle. For Terry Hanratty, Dave Toromio, I'm Rob Adams. You have been listening to a now dark Hanratty'S Huddle. We'll see you next time.